And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Boy, is it nice to do a show. Well, first of all, the day after, both of us maybe get a little bit of sleep, although Razor Damas was traveling last night from St. Louis to Dallas. But to do it after a victory, and not just a victory, a ho-hum victory, but a come from behind, felt more like a Bruins type of victory. As again, we welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Razor, it's nice, huh? Down 2-0 in the third. Ho-hum, you say on TV they're going to come back and win. You felt it, didn't you? You really felt it.
I really did feel it. Of course, it's not necessarily the best way to go about TV, throwing that out there because you're wrong.
But you really got nothing to lose.
No.
Really.
Yeah, there's as a player, I always question the accountability of media, and I guess I put myself out there for that same thing. I don't think anyone was going to chase me down. They'd be chasing a bunch of hockey players down after the game had they lost. So, but I did feel, again, their 5-on-5 games pretty good. They're skating pretty well last night. Binnington was good through 2 periods. It's just the special teams stink, and we're going to get to it, I know, but. It just felt for me last night being around the group that they deserved to win, and I threw it out there and fought back.
All right, hold on one sec. Hold on.
Is that you or me?
I think it's you. I think.
See if there's any other networks. No.
All right. Well, we'll just keep talking. I'll start again, and then we'll just keep talking through it. We're just gonna have to do it. Does it look like you have bars?
I'm like basically full. I'm just there's no other phone. Do you think should I hotspot it?
Try it. Can't hurt.
Because obviously,
you're. Am I in and out to you? Because you're like I'm not sure. I'm showing full. I'm on the Nesson internet. You're frozen.
Right. I'm frozen.
You were, yeah.
Am I back now? I just switched over. That's why.
You are back now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, you're on your phone, you said?
I just switched over to my hotspot. Should I do that? Is that better, or should I go back?
Right now it's better. Let's just give it a go.
Okay.
Let's just give it a go. All right, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Post-victory episode as the Boston Bruins skate to a come-from-behind victory, a 3-2 win over the St. Louis Blues. The game was played on Tuesday night. We find Razor Damas, as we call him now, in Dallas, and we're going to get to him, the man who predicted the Bruins come from behind. But before we get to that, let's tell you about Fazenda Coffee, because Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by Fazenda Coffee. Fazenda Coffee powers some of Boston's best cafes and restaurants with their exceptional coffee. They've also got a wholesale program that is designed to help your business serve the perfect cup every time. Go to fazendacoffee.com/wholesale to learn more and join their list of top-tier cafes and restaurants that trust Fazenda. Again, fazendacoffee.com/wholesale. And if you want to look for the Morning Brew blend or the hats, the Morning Brew baseball hats, go to fazendacoffee.com/morning brew. They are all there. Hats are selling beautifully. Go check it out. Thank you to Fazenda Coffee. Razor, all right. Thank you to you, because you gave us a lot to talk about last night, partner. You put your cojones on the line there. You're becoming full broadcaster. I hate to break it to you, bud. You are, and I you're becoming full dark side. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, second intermission, Razor gets the chance to speak up there, and he ends up getting before the third period and talks about how the team's been pretty good, and this is a perfect time for them to come from behind. You take the rest, how you felt it, why you felt it, and said what you said.
Well, I thought they were playing pretty decently. Special teams, we're going to get to it, are still an unmitigated disaster for this group. But I like the game. I like the fact that their two best players were their best players through 40 minutes of ice time. David was a machine last night. And I just felt like they deserved something good to happen. They hadn't had a comeback, even close comeback victory this season. And saying the perfect storm arose. I really did feel it. Again, like you say, I am on the dark side. Really no accountability on the back end of it. If they had a loss, we just, say how bad everybody is. Yeah. There you go. That's it. So it worked out. It won't happen. I will not be making too many of those calls. I really did feel it last night. And again, I'm glad for everyone involved that I was somewhat correct.
Well, if you really break it down and you look at it, they're playing a team that is struggling like they are.
Yep.
That I think I'm going to put thoughts into you, and this isn't fair, but I'm going to guess you thought one goal could change the tone of the game, right? Yep. You're like, it wasn't 3-0, it was 2-0. So you're saying one shot could completely change the tenor of this game. The team really, they being St. Louis, is really anchored by Binnington. Despite his numbers not looking good, he's been pretty damn good this year for them. But they are a fragile team. You could say the same about the Bruins at times, no question this season. But the Bruins also, I thought their 5-5 was okay to good. I'm not looking to disagree with you. I'm like, again, I looked at the totality of the game and I'm like, shit, they're down 2-0. I know they've had some chances, but I didn't feel like Razor they were dominating at all. I thought they were good. I thought they were good. And I hated the penalties again. Hated them. And I just felt that could creep into the rest of their game. But to their credit, in the third period, they said, screw that. We're going to keep attacking. We're going to play even more the right way, and we're going to play disciplined hockey.
It's exactly what they did. They stuck to it. And that's why I still like this group, because they're not distracted, despite sometimes the deficiencies of their game. They do show up, and they do continue to put their head down. The leaders, Brad Marchand, again, he's very vocal and he stays very positive, and he's learned that from the guys before him, and they stuck with it. They got discipline in the third, and they also just really simplified. Everything was going to the net, and everything was focused north. And I think that, again, of course, if it was the Winnipeg Jets, I don't know if of course you need a little help from the other team, and St. Louis was a pretty good option for that last night. They gave up 8 goals the game before they played. So certainly a fragile group, certainly a group that doesn't have a lot of a strong wall on defense. And the Bruins again, they capitalized on that.
They sure did. 10 of 13 games, starting with last night's game against St. Louis, against teams not in the playoffs. 10 of the next 13. Now, you got to play the games, and the Bruins haven't been beating all the teams that haven't been even in the playoffs before. Philadelphia game pops to mind. So while it's important to note that they're maybe not playing some of the strongest teams, it's even more important to note that they better freaking win. That they got to take advantage of it. And none of these games are going to be easy, because we don't know exactly. By the way, we feel good about this today, but we don't know if it means anything for this team, Razor. We don't, given they haven't shown us yet this season that they are going to be able to build on this. They have to go out and prove it now come Thursday night in Dallas. No
question. They have a lot. They have a lot of work to do, and they have a lot of building to do. And this is it's a good start. Listen, it's a good. You need comeback wins. You need to do that in the NHL to make the playoffs. We've seen that with this group the last few years. When they get down a little bit, they've been able to claw points out of games like last night, and that's the difference between making the playoffs and not. So certainly a long way to go. And then to the schedule. Listen, you have to play the games. The teams in the playoffs now might not be in the playoffs next week. It's so tight. The parity in the league is so tight. Like next week, we could say those 10 of 13. Well, now it's now it's only down 7 games of the 13 because a couple teams got hot.
Exactly.
Early in the season, teams that go on 15 of 16 games, they could have a bad schedule and you don't even know it until later in the season. So the schedule thing and the Bruins are 4-1-1, but they've only beaten bad teams. Well, you can't do that. It's the National Hockey League. and you have to win the games that are in front of you. And listen, the Dallas Stars we think are a great team. Well, they're only 9-5. It's not like they're this amazing juggernaut at this point. We think they're a good team, but they're 9-5. So what are they still, right?
Well, right. They lost both games to Dallas, to Florida recently when they were over in Finland.
Correct.
And they lost another game. I think it was to Winnipeg. And then they beat two teams like Chicago and somebody else, I don't remember, that are out of the playoffs. So they're 2-3 in their last 5. To your point, we know they're good on paper. We think they're very good when it's all said and done, but we don't know. And also to your point, by the way, the Bruins now they have 2 games in hand on Ottawa. In this way too early look at the playoff race, they're in 3rd in the Atlantic with 18 points. Mm-hmm. Ottawa has 2 games fewer, and they're just 2 points back. But the point being is a lot can happen. You still got to go out and play the games, situational, etc. So anyways, good for the Bruins doing that. What I want to quickly do here is I want to just go through, just what happened in the game quickly. We talk about some specifics here. No score in the first period. No goals scored in the first period. 9 shots for the Bruins, 6 for St. Louis. Second period, though, things started to change. The Bruins take some poor penalties. You got a hooking call against Justin Brazeau in the first, but that wasn't it. Although I didn't love that one either. I don't know what he was supposed to do, but regardless. Second period, Cole Koepke takes a high sticking at 8:24, and then David Pastrnak takes one at 10:28. On the Koepke one, it's Braden Shen who scores the goal at the 9:24 mark. Meanwhile, the St. Louis Blues had scored no power play goals at home all season long. Quick shot from the bumper spot gets through Swayman. At first I thought it was a knuckle. It wasn't a knuckler, but it hit him in that 7 spot, right below the arm, then the body. Not much he could do right there. And then Shen was there just to tap the puck in backdoor Razor.
Exactly. It was a great pass, like a perfect little sauce to the bumper. And
Kyrou,
he hit it perfectly, right? He hit it perfectly. And that's why Swayman couldn't react, or it just happened so quickly. And once it goes through, you have no chance. Shen read it. It was just a great little power play set up by the Blues. Really nicely done. And you're just thinking, man, the Bruins just can't afford to take any penalties right now. Like everything ends up in their net whenever they take a penalty, especially in the offensive zone.
Bad
penalties. And then sure enough, the timing of it, which we've continually talked about, they get that one. And then seconds later, David, almost in the exact same spot, in the exact same play, in the exact same setup, does the exact same high sticking call.
Yeah, and so Pasternak's penalty at 10:28 leads to the Oscar Sundqvist goal, his second of the season at 12:12 mark. Holloway and Saad with the assist. That was a gorgeous movement of the puck. Mm-hmm. I mean, just, for a team that looks like they have no power play, St. Louis Blues look like, the 85 Oilers or whatever year it was as they zipped the puck around. So they made a 2-0 lead at that time. Bruins, though, get things going in the third period. They came out with more intensity, more passion, something quite in my opinion, we have not seen enough of. Bruins come out, and it ends up being David Pastrnak, who you said, Razor, correctly, was on a mission in the game last night. The 4:53 mark makes a nice pass on a 2-on-1.5 over to Morgan Geekie. A right shot on the left side. The pass actually got prohibited just a little bit by the back checker. I think it was Texier, who just stopped it on the heel of his, not stopped it, but deflected it, and it goes perfectly to Geekie, who rips the shot, perfect height off the ice, past the blocker side of the goaltender Binning to make it 2-1. And about 4.5 minutes later, then Charlie McAvoy, shot first Charlie McAvoy mentality, gets his 3rd goal of the season, a hammer, after Marchand and Brazeau, both with good, what we would call second effort type play. 9:15 mark makes it 2-2, and the Bruins are coming, and they're coming. And I don't know what it was like in the arena. You could see a lot of Bruins fans there. I'm assuming that you could feel it. Finally, then the 18:13 mark, it's David Pastrnak. This was classic Pastrnak, what we haven't seen yet this year, Razor. He gets his 7th goal of the season, first goal in 8 games. He had a bunch of assists in that time, but no goals. McAvoy with the pass over to him, Pavel Zacha as well. Those are your goal scores in the game. Bruins win 3-2. They outshoot St. Louis 30-22 in that game. All right, let's go to since I already talked about the first goal, let's talk about the second goal, the McAvoy goal. With Hampus Lindholm out, we'll touch on that in a moment too. He starts getting more and more ice time. Remember, he was taken off the first power play. It was Charlie McAvoy, and rightfully so, my opinion, for this game. But he seemed to get more oomph to his game. more, I got to stand up. I got to take care of business here. And look, he seems to play well against St. Louis, and this last night was no exception.
Yeah, he had to stand up, and the entire decor had to stand up with Lindholm going down late in the first. But it was Charlie, and that's what you need that out of your best players. We've been pining for that, I think, for the entire season to see some of that from all of the best players, and it was, you get a little bit of what a change 60 minutes makes. Going into the game, how I'm sure he was feeling and getting demoted, quote unquote demoted, out of that first unit move, and then to then be the hero at the end of the night. That's a good feeling for anybody, even a superstar in this league, and it should again. That's why this feels good too, is because of who the leaders were. If it had been the Kepkes and the Kasluks, who have been doing a great job this season, that carried them through, I think we'd be questioning maybe a little bit differently than the fact that it was McAvoy and Pasternak, and it was the way McAvoy played and the way Pasta played that makes us feel even a little bit better.
I would agree. You had Marchand, who was excellent, McAvoy, and then Pasternak, who was the best player on the ice in that game, come through for your team. And then, Swayman, but let's be honest, it was those three guys.
Yeah.
It was those three skaters, Razor, that made the ultimate biggest difference, in my opinion, in that game.
Agreed. I thought Lindholm was good too. Elias, sorry.
Yeah, he was good.
He does a bunch of little things really well. I hope he starts getting rewarded offensively again. I'd love to see him, get a shot off, get a bumper play, whatever it is. But he does do a lot of really nice things. Details are great.
Details are great. We showed some what we think is frustration for a Swedish player who kind of doesn't show emotion.
I think so, yeah.
We showed some early in the game. Remember, he had a shot go literally over the net. It was skyrocketed over the net very early in the game, and you could see him just sitting there going, "Oh, come on!" Like you could like literally on the bench, he was talking to himself a little bit.
Yeah.
If he gets going and Zacha gets going, I know Zacha had a goal the other night, but I'm talking about in a heater for Pavel Zacha. Those two guys will make a significant difference. I'm going to make an assumption here. Let's lead into our Apex most entertaining moment of the game. It was, for me, the thrust before the Pasternak goal, the crescendo of activity, and then obviously the goal. Do you have another moment that you would call for your most entertaining moment?
No, that's an easy one for me, and yeah, it was the entire. It wasn't just the shot; it was the build up towards it. And what a great play by Mason Lowry, just throwing it back out in front of the net to really kickstart that after a really good opportunity, and then gets it right back. That's like the Florida Panthers playbook right there. Like get that, turn that, fire it right back into the crease, create chaos, and then it loops around and gets to David.
And then David hammers it. I mean, now this was a delayed reaction celebration because of the fact that Binnington, to his credit, got there.
He got a big piece of it.
He got a big piece. And I don't know, what did it go, maybe 4 inches across the line before a blue player was able to get his stick blade on it. But everybody had that, whoa, and then you see the white behind the puck. So that's what made it even more entertaining, is that it had that delayed reaction. Apex Entertainment in Marlborough. Go check it out. I know Razor and the kids love going there. So do my kids. 100,000 square feet of pure fun. ApexEntertainment.com. All right. Thank you to Apex Entertainment as they've come back on board with Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. I'm also producing the show today. Which
that
is
was fun. If everyone watching on TV, he's got the computer. He's got a bunch of little buttons. He looks like a DJ.
I am right now. I am like
he's cooking. He's cooking.
I know the brain right now is fried, going over. It is overblown right now. Before we get to our other sponsors, and we will just in a second, let's talk about the importance of the game that you saw from David Pasternak. The line on Pasternak, impressive. A goal and an assist, 24-29, 10 shots on goal, another attempt, 1 giveaway, and 1 takeaway. There was also a moment in that second period where he was frustrated after the penalty, and then the team gets scored on, where you could see the F-bombs being dropped from Pasternak. And then a moment later, Coach Jim Montgomery comes over for a coach hug, and I think, settling him down, trying to settle him down, looked like he was giving him the, hey, come on, it's going to be all right type of thing. but you could still see some frustration on Pastrnak. So you take all that in, Razor, and you look at his body of work in the game. Was it even close? Has there been another game that has been even close to that performance this season?
No, not at all. Not even close. And the stat line's nuts. Like that is nuts. And yeah, I interviewed him after, grabbed him, and talked quickly before we went on camera. And he's just like, man, and he said it, I think, in the interview as well, is like, I had so many chances. I should have scored 4 goals. Like I was frustrated. Like, I'm glad I scored at the end, but those other 9 shots, the 3 of those should have went in too. And positive side is he still feels like he's a little snake bitten. And the positive that he scored on top of that. So it was a masterful effort. And again, one of those ones where he came out and he was going to be the one taking all the shots tonight. There was no passing on 2-on-1s from him to last night. And that's the mentality that you want out of that guy.
I'm hoping that the offensive zone stick infractions can stop, though.
They have. Yeah.
For him,
there's so many. There's just taking so many minors. It's crazy how many more. Like, you go through the game notes, and every team you play at this point, they're at 70. The Bruins are at 70 in attempts on the PK, and last night the Blues are at 37. Like, it's not even in the ballpark how many they're taking.
No, and for a team, it just sets a very bad precedent for them to keep taking this many penalties. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to get out of it. Is it as simple as just saying you got to move your feet more? It might sound that easy, but to me, again, this is mental more than physical, Razor. It absolutely is to me.
Well, I think it's the frustration. And I think once they get that frustration out, if if everyone starts getting it out, I think they'll go. That's the best way for them to go away. I think there's times where they just try way too hard to get pucks back that they have no right getting back, and just getting back into the middle of the ice and waiting and allowing the game to come to them a little bit. I think they're forcing it right now.
Yeah. Understatement, man. They are forcing it big time, and it has not led to big opportunities. All right, let's talk about our sponsors here for a moment, because we couldn't do this show without them, and all the stuff that they do is just tremendous for us. Let's start with Graciano Construction. You want to talk about a company that will help you become better? Well, they'll help revitalize and refresh your space, serving greater Metro West and Boston and a lot of Massachusetts. Just reach out to them. Call up Doug Graciano at 508-330-7589 or go to gracianoconstruction.com. You want to talk about redoing your bathroom, your kitchen, your porch, your whatever, painting, even your garage. They can do it all. And the best part about them, guys, is they do it with pride and amazing professionalism. If you're looking to do something at your house, call up or email Graciano Construction. Again, the number 508-330-7589 or go to gracianoconstruction.com. You will not be disappointed if you go and even just talk with Doug and his crew, because, again, they bring you ideas, they do different things for you, and they make a big difference. Speaking of making a difference, as I work my way through the sidebar over here to bring up RTN Realty, there we go. Email Chris Gentile at cgentile, Gentile at rtnrealty.com. Or you can call Chris directly. This is his cell phone, folks, 617-835-0845 for a no-pressure consultation. I drive by one of their houses that they got for sale in the Waltham area, and it's been on the market just a couple of weeks, and boom, it's gone. It's done. It's over. It's been sold. So another sold. Over 2,500 transactions for Chris over his 22 years experience. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease a place in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire, check out RTN Realty for all of your real estate needs. Chris and his staff of 16 agents and support staff, we've got you covered. They're fantastic with what they do. So thank you to Graciano Construction. Thank you to RTN Realty, Apex, and of course to Fazenda. And I'm working quickly to here on the YouTube side of things to get the there we go. All right. It's beautiful. Well, we did it, Razor. Yeah, we did it. All right. Ryan's going to be like RC, the guy who keeps us on track. He's got some other stuff. He's busy as heck, man. And he's going to be like, oh, you missed this, you did that. Not
Looks
bad.
good to me.
Not bad. Yeah. So we're making it happen. All right, let's talk about the penalty kill. I'm sorry to go negative on it, but Razor, what's got to happen, bud? I mean, I don't know. The fix, it's different, man. It's the net front isn't protected. The movement isn't as much there. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about it really already. And it's got to be, if it's frustrating for you and me, imagine the coaches and the players. I don't really know what their options are anymore, because it's easy to sit here and say, well, they got to rotate better, this and that. They're just, some of these goals are being made to look easy against them right now, Razor.
They got to keep battling, and they gotta find a way to get that split second of pace back. They've got to work better at just being a little simpler on their dumps, on their clears, not trying to make plays out of their zone at different times, and making sure it doesn't go just 150 feet, it goes 200 feet down to the other end. But again, they've had the best penalty kill, over the last 12 years, not even questioned. So, and since Joe Sacco's been here, they've had the best penalty kill. He didn't forget how to do it. There's different personnel, and I think that's a big part of this right now, is trying to get them all on the same page. And it's like the power play, it's not clicking. And as you can tell in the NHL, there's a lot of special team opportunities, and it feels like they're really playing on their heels. And when you do that as a PK, you can get exposed by these players in the National Hockey League. So
I haven't loved some of the reads. I haven't, especially when the puck kind of gets low, and then we saw moving it to the middle and stuff. I don't know. I know, Nikita Zadorov and now Lindholm was injured, remember, early in the game, so he didn't play much on the PK. Zadorov played 3 minutes of PK time. Carlo played 3:09. Hampus Lindholm played 59 seconds of it. And was he on the PK? I'm trying to remember when.
That's when he blocked it. Yeah.
When he blocked it near the end of it, right?
That was the PK. Yep.
Yeah. So that's another reason there. I mean, Parker Wotherspoon had just 33 seconds shorthanded. I mean, do you just give him maybe a little more opportunity to go and, it's not big, but you know what? Maybe the quickness is what they need more than the big. I feel like sometimes Zadorov gets caught in the middle a little bit too much, Razor, and maybe just try. You're going to have to, first of all, call somebody else up too, but maybe you try Parker Wotherspoon a bit more there.
Yeah, that's kind of where they're at. Is you might start throwing some spaghetti on the wall and see if just a change for the sake of changing, and whether that's on the back end or just changing the pairings, who starts the PK, and then finding forward pairs that you can interchange and hopefully get a little magic and just kind of survive it right now. Like, it feels like they need a game where they go 0 for just to not have to think about it or talk about it or get a positive reinforcement. Because right now there's really no way to even get a positive reinforcement out of it by watching video. It's always going to be, this is what we got to do better. Right. And that weighs on everybody. So yeah, I couldn't agree more that you're changing and moving personnel right now to try and see if something clicks. Because again, the system, the ideas, they haven't changed from the top penalty kill in the league. That it's all the same ideas. It's just a matter of execution.
Mark Kastelik hasn't played much on the shorthanded situation this year.
Seems like a big body could get in the way, right?
Yeah,
like a big
willingness.
stick.
Maybe that's a guy you try too. I'm just, I know they've got their reasons for certain things and certain players, but maybe you give him a little bit more. Let's go talk about Hampus Lindholm. Played 8 minutes, 17 seconds on 8 shifts, and he gets hurt. And he gets hit just above the knee, in between basically where the knee above the kneecap, below the bottom of the breezer of the pant there.
Yeah.
My concern, Razor, is that usually and Barry and I talked about this intermission. It's you hope it's a stinger. You hope it's a real bad bruise and that you can get through it. You might have to take 10 minutes off, ice it, work at it, freeze it, whatever, right? But he doesn't come back.
Uh-huh.
That's concerning to me. What about you? I mean, that you think you can get by with it, but then you're like, oh shit, what is it more than that?
No, exactly. And I've had dozens of those. That's
Mhm.
before goalie equipment was great and our knee pads were great like they are now. That's where goalies got hit. I got literally dozens of those.
Yeah.
And to your point, you literally roll around on the ice because it hurts more than anything in the world,
Oh
and you
yeah.
try
You
and
want
get off.
puke.
Yeah, literally, it's like getting hit in the growing area like that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of pain. Like it's just deep and you can't get rid of it. And it goes away, or it goes away enough where, okay, I
You can
can
deal.
just get through the rest of this game. And then you wake up and it's stiff and it hurts. And you take practice off the next day. And
Right.
2 days later, you're fine. This seemed different. And for whatever, for him not coming back is certainly seems as though he's not playing in Dallas. That's, this next
Doesn't
game.
feel like it. Yeah.
No, it would surprise me if he bounces back that quickly after not being able to play. So I guess we'll get an update. I'm assuming someone's coming on their way either way because you need more bodies and the Bruins don't have any extra ones. So that can also come into play when it comes to PK or, do you call up the best penalty killer? That's who you talk to. You talk to the Providence coaches and everyone watching, like, who's your best guy right now on the PK? And that's who's coming up. So
Yeah.
that will change the personnel either way on the back end.
So we should note that Razor, you and I are recording this before practice.
Yeah, I'm in there as soon as I'm done this. It's at, so I'll have a better idea, but I don't know anything now.
Right. So folks, you could be listening to this and already know the news one way or another, whatever it is with Hampus Lindholm, but Razor's going to be heading over there in just a couple of minutes. All right. Speaking of putting on the pads, getting hit as a goalie and everything, let's wrap up this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor with this.
Talk about it.
Didn't you? Well, I didn't. You know what? And here's the sad part, because I had internet issues. So that's why I'm scrambling around to get this show recorded. I have video. Of Razor playing goal, NHL Hall of Fame. Well, actually, technically, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame alumni game. It was Sunday evening in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. Razor and Marty Biron are the goaltenders of the day. You were Team Lindros.
Yeah.
Marty Biron was Team
Hefford.
So, all right. Fun
that was
stuff.
Team Hefford was much better, right? Like not even close, much better.
I would say it was better, definitely better. Yeah. But I don't think it's an excuse. But it was better. Oh my gosh, those Eric Lindros he's
is so big.
He is gigantic.
Oh my God,
and
he's a monster.
I don't mean like heavy gigantic.
He huge. Everything
he's like a glacier. I mean, literally, he's got his own glacier name.
He is so scary to me. He's literally one of my favorite players ever. I love that guy.
He goes out there and he's moving. If he wanted to, he could take everybody on the other team and just crush them. Razor at one point, though, and I know that all-star games are brutal for goalies, but you're in the game and you're selected for it as an all-star. So I think as a player, you can deal with it better.
Yeah.
I looked at you. I have you actually doing your warm-up. You actually did the routine that you would probably do in a game, I think, just to get yourself into it. Just to kind of the little shuffle, I'll call it, out. You pretend like you got your angles and all that stuff. And then I saw you leaning on your posts, on your crossbar, and I think you were saying, what the F am I doing here?
Yep.
What am I doing right now? And then the game started, and your team played even less defense than the other team. And then the puck started hitting you, and then the puck, it's like, I'm like, oh my God, he has to go down to a butterfly.
Yeah.
He's got
that's when that was the beginning of the end, the first butterfly. Well, and the other thing is, from the time we did warm up, which was like we went out there at 2:30 to the time we actually played, and then the time the game ended, that was the longest I've ever had my equipment on.
It was an hour.
Yeah, it was a full hour before the game puck dropped. So it was an hour and a half in my gear before the game even started. Then the game was like 2 hours long for 2 halves of 20-minute hockey, like bananas how long it took. And I almost ripped my groin right off the bone with like 11 minutes left in the game. There was a breakaway play and I went way too wide and my legs were tired at that point. And I was thinking about, can I get through this without getting stretchered off? And I was in full survival mode, especially from that moment on. So the first 4 minutes were kind of fun, and then they scored 4 goals in the first half, and I was not having fun anymore after that.
No, I told Vic, she was sitting next to me. I said, Razor right now is MFing this game.
Yeah, 100%. It was great to see everybody. It was great but 5 minutes into that game, I couldn't wait to get in my car. No question.
Get out. Yeah. No, I figured. And who was it that came down the right side and actually wound up, took a slap
Shane
shot?
Doan, slapper. And then Shea Weber, slapper in the shootout. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, people were apologizing for Shea Weber, slapper after. They were like, the people in charge were like, I'm so sorry. Like, we didn't know. I'm like, yeah, but fine. That's what I signed up for. It's his weekend.
It was, and it was a good weekend. It was fun. It was very fun to be there. I'd never been to the induction ceremony. We were invited to, and we had a really good time. It was one of those where you don't understand exactly what it is until you go through it. So there's 2 levels. There's the there's the upstairs part of the hall, and then the downstairs. Downstairs is much more of a full-time party. You're getting drinks and you're listening, and it's on screens and stuff. You're upstairs, you're in the hall itself, and you can't go anywhere. So you better go to the bathroom first. You better be comfortable. You better not, your ass gets a little bit squirrely in the seat after a while. Yeah. Everybody came out and like, oh my God, my ass is so sore. Because you're sitting there for like 2 hours straight. You can't really move. But it was great. I thought the speeches were excellent. And, it's fun to hear everybody's story, everybody who's meaningful to hear who they're thanking, and just to be around the hockey people, right? And
that's great.
To know somebody getting in as well as we do, as close as we do with JR, it was a lot of fun. So I'm sure the same way for you. It was a lot of fun to be there. You're happy you did it.
Yep.
But I don't know if you probably ever need to do it again.
Yeah. There might be one more reason to go.
Oh, that's all right. Knocks over the mic. Take it out on the mic.
Yeah, there. Sorry about that, everybody. If you got that, I'm in a tight quarter here in the room. Yeah, there might be one more reason to go, but I'm close to the end of that retirement. So,
but it was fun. I don't know if RC can do this post show, but I do have some videos of you, so maybe we can get that in maybe next show or whatever. All right. Anything else from last night that you want to go over? Bruins play tomorrow night. In Dallas. Razor and I being tomorrow night the 14th, because Razor's working on the road and then traveling. We are not doing a show after the Dallas game, folks. We are scheduled to do a show after the St. Louis game, the next St. Louis game on Saturday night. It's a matinee game, so we will do it on Saturday night. Hopefully get it done by about 6 o'clock and then get it out for you guys. That's at least the plan. Anything else you want to go over with that worthy that I missed?
No, that's a good win. Let's see if they can take some momentum and string it together. But let's take it for what it is. It's a good road win that they haven't got many of yet.
All right, Bruins win 3-2 over the St. Louis Blues after being down 2-0 at the end of 2. Razor and I will be back after Saturday's game against the St. Louis Blues. Again, that game is at home and it is a matinee. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of you for listening or watching, joining us here on YouTube as well. It's going to wrap up this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. Everybody go out and enjoy that extra cup of coffee after that victory.